Hello everyone, just rocking to the music. Hello everyone, hope you're doing all right. Welcome to NFTV. We're live on Twitch. We're also live on YouTube. I hope you're all having a lovely day. So we are going to wrap up or take a look at the last 24 hours, including today, some of the transfer goings, because it was a bit of a slow morning. But this afternoon, it's starting to speed up again, potentially with some more outgoings as well. So we'll come at that as well. Get your comments coming in. Can I do it right? Yes, I have done it. I've put it the right way because it's on a reverse camera. So yeah, down here. Get your comment in as well. Espo's saying, laughing my arse off. Newcastle United offered more wages for Sesko and took a pay cut. His agency took a commission cut just so he can join Man United. Can't say he's joining us for the wages now. And Odyssey's Vlachodimos is having a medical. Yes, we will come to that. Chip as well. Evening, Geordie Toon Life. Hope you're doing well. So what we'll do with these live streams now, just with the live streams as well, next week, once we've got the Seller Cup out the way, because we've got a lot of stuff and some exciting news coming up this weekend as well. Members will know more about that. So members is only 99p. We're going to start bringing in guests from faces that you know, basically. So we're going to start doing that from next week as well. So rather than just me talking to you, there'll be other people as well as bringing fans on as well. There'll be like fan shows as well, so you can come on and have your say and stuff. Drop the like. Yes, Joe Kenja's in there. Vissa, anyone? Andy, I would take Vissa as backup, but he's back training with Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. We're not really talking about him as much as such, but if anyone wants to ask any questions about it, feel free to do. And John says the PAF care more about their own league. I would agree. They do care more about the own league. I'm not going to deny that. I think they do. I think they've got 4 clubs and grow the structure of Saudi Arabia rather than Newcastle. Of course, I think they'll take the first hit. I think Adam lad. What an absolute shambles of a window, dude. Where's my pop? What's going on? Have we got to sign anyone? Yeah, I think we need to move on from Sesko. We'll come to that in a minute, and I'll read the last one up before we go back to all the news, and we'll come back to your live chat every so often. At what point do we protest, says Matthew? It's been so bad. We've failed. Silence from the leadership positions, not failed, etc. Eddie says right things, but nothing happens. Everyone is laughing at us. Embarrassing window, says Callum. And Abdullah says last season I think we didn't have any signs, but we finished 5th. But the squad's aging and we've got too many games this season. We need to strengthen. Right, let's bring up the share screen. So we'll bring this up and we'll come back to the live chat every so often. So this is today's news. We're going to start just quickly with NUFC women, who, of course, plays in a friendly. And this is Jordan Nobbs, former England international. They played at Blue Star, which is literally just across the water from me. So there's Charlotte Wardlow, and there's one of our devs. Well, maybe Eva will be involved this season, potentially, Eva Chapman. But yeah, so Newcastle United women drew, ironically, with Middlesbrough. I say Middlesbrough loosely because a lot of them are ex-Newcastle players who live in Newcastle, 1-1 last night. So obviously the Lasses do play this weekend first on the Saturday against Atletico Madrid Femin, which is the females. And then later on, of course, Diego Simeone's squad will face up against Newcastle. More on that at the weekend. So obviously, we're all anticipating Martin Dubravka would leave Newcastle United. That's now happened. It happened a few hours ago. It was around about midday. It happened that Dubravka is officially now a Burnley goalkeeper. I think it makes sense for all parties. Newcastle have got a little bit of money. It's not massive amounts, but they made him sign a contract extension. Probably got a little bit of a pay rise for doing that. And then Newcastle have got some money in instead of him going on a free. It's rumoured anywhere between $1 million to $2 million, potentially of add-ons. I don't know, but I think it's a good move for Martin Dubravka. He'd be first choice there when he wants. He's in age now, 36. He's still capable. He's very flexible, and I wanted to highlight what Ryder was saying about him. I think it's a good thing because remember his Rafa Benitez signing, he was a bargain. And he's done fantastic well, especially his first 18 months when he came to Newcastle. And I went out and said, during much tougher times at Newcastle, Dubravka was a beacon of hope between the posts at St James Park. A superb bargain signing by Rafa Benitez. Always happy to talk to the press and face the music during the difficult moments as well. Usually a star performer who will be remembered as one of the goalkeeping greats at United. Good luck at Burnley. I echo that. Newcastle, obviously, were in transition when he first joined. We were more or less... We'd only been in the Premier League for a short period of time, and he came in, established ourselves a little bit as a a low mid-table team, didn't we? And then obviously we had the whole to take over a few years later. And obviously Newcastle United then went out and say after 7.5 years at Tyneside, Mark Dubravka has left the club, joining Burnley on a permanent transfer. Thank you for everything, Dubravka. We wish you all the very best for the future. I echo that. Look, I'm not going to lie to you, when he posted about Man United on loan, I didn't like that. You remember when he got the loan move to Man United, he was sat in the hotel room saying, "Come on, the boys." That didn't go down well for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's the only gripe that I've got with Dubravka. But apart from that, you'll be well remembered. I think he obviously came into the squad last season, and I think it was harsh that he lost his place to Nick Pope. I really do, because Newcastle went on a run of fine form, and he was a largely part of that with the ball at his feet. He's really good at. So for me, I can only wish him all the best for Martin Dubravka. What else we got here? I just asked, I've missed that off. Dex has gone. It says, someone should advise Eddie Howe to sign Paqueta before MC get him. Gamara stay or leave depends where Paqueta is playing. Did you support us before the takeover? YN, another one of our members. Good to see you. I believe that Eddie Howe is our biggest asset, bigger than Isak. Any players we bring in, Eddie will make them great. Eddie Howe is the biggest asset. I totally agree with that. You lose Eddie Howe, I think the Titanic sinks, unfortunately. I really do. Not that I... Is that the right terminology? That's not the right terminology. I think is now what I'm trying to say. I think is now, because the Titanic does sink. We're not the Titanic, by the way. That's not what I was getting. I think is now what I'm trying to say. Matt got it to say, even late, and hope everyone has had a decent day as well. And Mr. Lewis, Mr. Joe Kenja, 0% success rate for Eddie Howe chasing elite players. Yeah, but Dex, look who's developed though. Alexander Isak is an elite player. You would probably say maybe just on level tier 2, the likes of Tonali, Bruno Gomes, Joe Linton's enhanced. They're great players. Anthony Gordon's a fantastic player. Jacob Murphy's a better player now. Fabian Schär's a better player. Tino Livramento, Lewis Hall, England internationals. You can't deny that Eddie Howe has improved players. So, yes, he might not be get elite because we kind of compete with the wages, but you definitely develop some 100%. Aaron Evening Lee, Strand Larson is now heavily linked according to Hope. Our taking thoughts. Not his first choice, no. I'm not against him being backup. He's a handful, isn't he? But different type of striker that Eddie Howe likes, isn't he? Because Eddie Howe likes someone who's can do stuff on their own, doesn't he? Predominantly, that's why Chris Wood was only a short gap signing. But I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not keen on it. Snooker's gone on to say, hope you guys have a great season in Champions League, running a brilliant club, heading in the right direction. Well, we hope so. If Howe left, we would sink like the Titanic. There you go, Geordie. You've just sorted me up. Thank you very much. You've just sorted me up right there. You know what I was trying to say. Later viewers, what an acceptable price for Isak to leave now. 150 million, Joe. You know that fine. Well, I've talked to you on WhatsApp about that. 150. Isak's want to leave achievements. I want him gone up by the end of the window. He's already had another day training on his own, by the way. Once we get a CEO and director of football, in we go again. Well, we've got to hurry up because it's the 7th of August. We've got 3 weeks left of the window. We've got to get a move on. Got to move on from Sesko now. And we'll come to that in a minute. I'm happy for Dubravka getting a move before the World Cup. Bit harsh after January, but I've not seen our transfer stuff today. Presume Sesko at Man United is pretty much done. Well, Matt, you're in the right place. Welcome to NFTV. Yes, you can probably tell that we're doing a lot more videos now that I'm back. So it's hopefully minimum 2 per day. And obviously we've got the overlap, the full version from Joe on the overlap as well coming in the next 24, 48 hours. So that's tasty. So you've probably seen the short. It's done well on the channel. Jody Toonfly, thank you very much. If Eddie leaves, is that the club hitting the iceberg? Iceberg, right ahead. Yes, I probably think so. And Tonali, Gamera's Botman not coming because of Eddie Howe. Right, come back to your live chat. Do keep your commenting. If you're watching as well, drop us a like. How I need these likes up. I want likes. Like. It costs you nout, and it helps me massively. So let's go to the next piece of story, which was about Mark Gahey. Now, there was a little bit of rumour yesterday about Gahey, but Ryder's gone. He's the only one that's saying that today. Ryder's gone on to say that Palace sources deny suggestions of a new approach from Mark Gahey from Newcastle. Interest from the Toon and Liverpool available and around 40 million. That's less than what I've seen mined I've seen up to 50, but no approach yet. Gay interested in Liverpool's offer. Newcastle made a huge, if you remember last summer, 70 million offer last summer, which was rejected, which of course Paul Mitchell went on an interview and say it was one player and none. Don't know about that. So Mark Gahey, obviously we are linked heavily to Thiaw from Milan, which we are going to come on to in a very moment because there has been an update from Allegri, the manager, today. So we'll come back to that. And goalkeeper reshuffle at Newcastle nearly done. This was just recently. Obviously, Mark Douglas put this out 5 hours ago, but Keith Downey's just tweeted. We'll come back to this as well. I understand that Odyssey's Vlachodimos is now on the brink of a loan move to Sevilla. Protects PSR as permanent deal would see them record a loss. Obviously, Sevilla don't want to buy. As Martin Dubravka completes a permanent move to Burnley. Good move for both. Yes, we'll come back to Vlachodimos in a second because he is in the thumbnail as well. Right, Malik Thiaw, I want to talk about that. And again, this is from Ryder. He's been busy today, Wally. And he's gone on to say that Malik Thiaw, am I pronouncing that right now? Because a lot of you were telling us off yesterday. Malik Thiaw is told by Milan boss Massimiliano Allegri, that sounds beautiful, that he wants to stay in Italy and play for the Rossoneri next season. Newcastle registered interest in the defender, who shares the same agency as some Newcastle players at the moment, valued at 30 million by Milan. Now, I've said this yesterday, I don't know too much about Malik Thiaw, but one or two people have said that he's inconsistent, but the German international, he's a lot younger. He fits the right profile for the age for the right-sided centre-back to come in and eventually go on to replace Fabian Schär, you would think, in the next year to 18 months. Obviously, Fabian Schär signed a contract extension just a couple of months back for another year, and Fabian Schär loves it in Newcastle. You would have seen the video that we did with the Q&A with the players out in South Korea, and a few more pictures of the lasses in that friendly last night against Middlesbrough. There's Beth Lumsden, and there's our new signing Ife Mannion, who plays in defence, and great to see Alicia Body back as well, wearing the socks like Jack Grealish. So the lasses obviously are on first. We will come to Sesko in a second because that's going to be the next news story. What is I saying then? John's going to say Isak might be here when the window shuts if Liverpool don't cough up and we can't be getting a replacement. Give me Watkins. Interesting, Liverpool have it's not signed, sold Nunes now, haven't they? So that's more money for them coming in. What's your thoughts on Malik Thiaw? I've just literally said it. I don't know too much about him, to be honest with you. I haven't watched a lot of them. I only get to see Milan at the moment when they're playing in Europe. I don't know. Watkins will be excellent. Also Vissa. All not lost. Hit the like, says John. Yes, come on, John. Promoting it. I love it. I love it. Get a hit. However, cost you fuck all. Aaron, Gans on to say, to be honest, I'm happy enough considering what's happened this window to have Jackson and Strand Lawson. Either that or we get Sesko from 2008 Kenya days. We clearly have money to spend. I don't want those as were first choice because the Isak situation is that, yes, he could be here the window shut, but it's unlikely, let's be honest. Ramos has been, Clarkie's gone out to say Ramos and Vissa would be both good buys. Ramos has been mentioned quite a bit, not linked to us, but he's been mentioned by a lot of fans, hasn't he, in the last 24 hours, hasn't he? And he's not first choice. He's a rotated striker at PSG. How much is he on, first of all? He's on quite a bit. And yes, he would like first team football. Of course he would. But is the project at PSG, is he happy where he is? Can we go in and maybe say, look, you'll be number one here if you play for us? You won't be competing with Isak. We're expecting Isak to go out and you come in. We'll use some of that money with the wages. Because I think Newcastle have to break that wage structure for us to compete going forward. Some people are saying it's not about money. I think some of it is. Because if you want to get Brian Wemo, if you want to go and get Sesko competing with Man United, unfortunately, our wage bracket has to break over 200k. It has to. So whether that's PSR that we can't for the reason, or we can sell Isak and use 5 million of that or 10 million of that towards higher wages for a better player, I don't know. Do us a favour and go for Baleba next. No, Atari, Trevor, I wouldn't want the bright midfield. I think he's talented, but I haven't said that. We'll probably need one since Longstaff's gone, to be fair. And Caleb's gone to say, I'd say we need someone fired, but I missed that off, sorry. Matt's got to say, my brother's adamant that Eddie Howe could massively improve Jackson. It's not as bad as his fans Chelsea make out, you might just want rid mind. Evening, Peter, how are you? Why can't the club use AS to help buy new signings? He would sell the club to new players. Jan Shearer there. I just think Shearer doesn't want to be involved in the carry-on of it. I just think he doesn't want the aggro. And I didn't blame him for that, to be honest with you. Aaron's going to say Ramos also linked in 2022 before Isak signed when he was at Benfica. If I'm not correct, he was. Chip has it's all about money and wages. This summer proves it. Doesn't matter about having Champions League football. Clarky says we have to double Tonali. We have to double Tonali's wage. Something will happen next summer. Jackson now linked to Munich. Ramos is a PSG, currently Champions League winner under elite manager. Why does he need to come here? The only thing I can suggest there, Dex, is maybe first team football regularly. That's the only thing I can really say. Pith have lost interest. I don't think they've lost interest. There's stuff that they could be doing better. Mentioned this before. Training ground, get it sponsored, get the club moved, get the lasses on the 21s, on the 18s at the current one, move them into Elite One. Can you expand the stadium? Where's the news? Or you build a new one? Where's the announcements? It's there's little stuff that they can improve. What else? We've got Jackson and Vissa will both be at the AFCON. So who plays up top in January, February? If we get them, I think it'll be Gordon. I think I tweeted out just on my personal Twitter about an hour ago against Aston Villa. Currently, if we play Villa this weekend, obviously I know it's next weekend, it'll be Bond on the left, it'll be Gordon up top, and you can pick between Murphy and Elanga on the right. That's going to be the forward line. I guarantee you it. Asula won't play. You'll come off the bench. You'll not start. So speaking, okay, we've got a couple of comments coming in. What's Ramos can learn from Eddie Howe, ex-championship manager? Everybody rejects him. Well, Dex, I'll say it again. Alexander Isak right now, is he a better player right now before he joined Newcastle United? I'll leave that there with you because you know the answer to that. PSG want rid of Ramos. Right, let's talk about Sesko. So this was 2 hours ago that Mr. Exclusive himself, David Ornstein, has said that Man United strike agreement in principle with Leipzig to sign Benjamin Sesko. Deals for the 22-year-old Leipzig strike at €76.5 million. Obviously, that's just less than pounds, isn't it? Plus €8.5 add-on. Slovenian international given permission now to fly and do a medical before completing Man United move. Obviously, he was training on his own the last 24 hours with the speculation rife, and he missed their friendly recently, obviously, with their speculation with Newcastle and Man United. We've lost out on him. I think that's happening in Man United, but you know what? I think we've got to move on from it. There's no point in crying on about it now. I think we've got to move on. Yes, the Sofa fans, TVs, I call them, are all on Twitter and giving us stick, and there's a couple in this live chat as well. I go to more Man United games than what they do, so go to a game, stop watching it on the TV, #plastic, move on from it, stop biting. And the thing about social media as well, why they keep saying that Newcastle think they're a big club, all these Man United fans that are saying that don't go to games, they watch behind the TV screen. Why do they keep saying that? Like they're trying to stir an argument. I couldn't give a shit if Newcastle were tiny. I'll be there following them home and away. I don't give a shit if Newcastle are the biggest club in the world or the smallest club in the world. I love my club. I'll follow my local team wherever they may go. Moving on, Alexander Isak, Mark Douglas has gone out to say Newcastle considering a £60 million move for Nicolas Jackson. I know some of you have mentioned this in the comments just before. Isak ticks one of their recruitment boxes, but does he tick the other two? Obviously, Liverpool want to go in and sign him. Complicated picture. Strong noises from Newcastle again on Isak. Obviously, Isak is trained again on his own. He's not allowed to come into the first team at the moment. And obviously, you can see some of the lads are in training here. They're back in training for a couple of days. They've been in today and they were in yesterday ahead of the Salah Cup. There's no doubt about it. Tomorrow night's game against Espanyol, there'll be a start 11, which will probably play most of the 90. I think Ramsdale will make his debut. And then I think there'll be a bunch of under 21s who might get 20 minutes maximum. And then on Saturday, obviously, you've got the lasses that will play. And then it'll be a totally different 11 that will either play the full 90 or more or less 70 minutes upwards. And then the other 21 lads who maybe have played the first game, a bit like Trevor Sanusi last year, played both games. It could happen with a couple of the under 21s. That's likely to happen as well. Okie dokie, then we'll pause that and we'll have a look at what you're saying back in the live chat there. If not, Alan Shearer, what about ex-player, says Peter? Look, I think ambassadors, there's nothing wrong with them. I think clubs do that, and I think Newcastle should tap into that a little bit more. Shea Given does a lot of stuff in Newcastle, so does Shola at the moment. Sesko, who says Stephen? Disaster of a summer right at the start. Can Howe work miracles again? Wouldn't put it past them, Nigel. Would not put it past them. Ramos will not be leaving in this World Cup year. Well, if he wants to play first team football, he needs to play, doesn't he? If he wants to get on that in the starting 11, because it's that national side's very talented. Sesko's just took off from Leipzig, heading to Man United. Yeah, we need to move on from it now. We only want a team that tries. And dude says, I honestly think we have the next son through the door with the new boy Park Seung-soo with all the talent he's came on the friendlies. Yeah, when I was out in South Korea, all the local fans were going nuts from singing his name and Park Seung-soo. That's the chant. Park Seung-soo. That was literally just the chant. It was mental. Fair play to them out there. They're absolutely nuts in South Korea. Fair play to them. Didn't know Newcastle had such a big following until I got there, to be honest with you. I thought it would be a small pocket, but with loads at all the events. Incredible. Jinky said, where is the CEO and sporting director? Supposed to be imminent appointment for weeks now. Again, I'll go back to the announcement. We ran a couple of weeks. Well, I say a couple of weeks. It was last week. Feels like a couple of weeks ago. The communication from the club, it's not as bad as Mike Ashley, of course not. It's nowhere near that level, but it's the worst since Amanda Saviour left Newcastle United, 100%. Good night, Lee from Singapore. Faraz. Yes, Faraz, my pal. Drop us a WhatsApp, please, Faraz. Yes, I keep forgetting that you're ahead of us as well. And Gavin's going to say, I'm quite bemused with how transfers we are going for top Premier League proven players, and when they're coming good seasons, that be top clubs after we can't compete with wages. I think we're shopping Harrods now, aren't we? We're going for better players now. You are finding it difficult. We can't deny that. And look, we don't have any experts. Steve Nixon's probably the most experienced person in transfers at the club at the minute, but he's not. He's more or less a chief scout. Well, Shoon fan says, do you think the club aren't progressing with academy enough? Feel this could be the way to complete the PSR world. But they are buying a lot of foreign and national talent as well. You look at Leah Shahar, who's probably on the verge of making his debut. Trevan Sanusi has already have. You've got a lot of the under-21s who went out on loan last season, will be back now. They've just beat South Shields 5-0. So that was impressive. I'm talking about the ones that didn't come across to South Korea. So we do have some talented lads. Obviously, a couple of strikers as well that are decent. You remember we've got Garan Kowal as well. Forgotten man about him as well. What do you do with him? Hoyland, Jackson, Watkins, Vista, DCL. I don't want Hoyland. I think he's shite. I really don't want Hoyland. I think he's fucking crap. I do not want him. I think he's worse than Jackson. That says something. No thanks. Matt, it'll be interesting to see if any of the 21 stand out over the weekend. Might see an opportunity without transfer troubles. You never know. What about the Porto striker, Agahawa? Yeah, he's been named a few times, hasn't he? Can he now come into an elite league? Is he ready for it? Again, I don't know tons about him. You tell me if you know more about Agahawa than me. Sesko's joined the wrong United. What a waste of talent. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, aren't that Man United's not the club. Well, some of the signings have been decent, so you never know. There might be, I don't know, they'll be better. No, I really didn't know. Canny Beg says links of Liverpool going for Vissa. Nah. Liverpool won't go for Vissa. I think Vissa isn't good enough to play for Liverpool. We're not at Liverpool's level. He's good enough to be a squad player at Newcastle. He's not good enough to play for Liverpool. He's not. Pavlidis scored twice against England. Yeah, the Greek international. He's at Benfica, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken. Again, backup striker only. I wouldn't want him as first choice. And Stephen goes on to say, what about a cheeky loan from Cuckoo from Chelsea? Would be decent under Howe. Yeah, he can play across the front line. Again, I wouldn't have him as my first choice, mind. But it's an option to be backup. But the thing is that the problem that we've got is to be our number one striker if Isak goes. Who is ready to do that straight from the off? It's such a difficult task, isn't it? Bayern Munich going for Jackson. Yeah, a couple of people are saying that now. Let Bayern Munich have Jackson. I mean, I would only take Jackson as a backup, to be honest with you. I would not have him anywhere near the first team 11, to be honest with you. Okay, cool. So this one was about John McGinn. We were strangely linked to him yesterday, but Downey's gone out and say that Aston Villa have now rejected a bid from Everton for McGinn. Villa say he's not for sale. Newcastle were also interested, but not made an offer. Obviously, we've lost Sean Longstaff. Joe Willock's got an injury for 6 weeks. So I've seen worse signings. It's become a bit left field, that link though. And of course, Alexander Isak will not, in capital letters by Craig Hope, not play for Newcastle in the Cellar Cup games this weekend. More on that about 5 p.m. special. Isak's not going to play this weekend, so he's not even going to be match fit going in Aston Villa. So he's not going to play against Aston Villa. Let's be honest, he's not. So yeah, it's going to be Gordon up top against Aston Villa unless we sign a striker for the week. And obviously with Isak, I put this out last night. Howe then, what we're thinking, Marmite, isn't it? So there's a lot of comments on Facebook and there's a lot of comments over on X as well. I'll just go slowly so some of you can read some of these out. Marmite, that splits opinion. I don't know a single person who thinks Jackson would be a good signing. There's a lot of negativity with the links with Jackson. I think at the right price, he would be good signing, strong, holds the ball up, and has pace under how I think he can kick on. Better than Nout, says Andrew. Generally rather have Calvert-Lewin on a free. Always offside, clumsy in front of goal. At 40 million punt at best. Obviously, there is some rumours that he's like 80 million, isn't he? It's like going to a restaurant for full English, knowing that they're out with everything but vegan sausage bovril. 80 million, not a chance. Has he just signed a 8-year contract? It's not 80 million, but I'd have him. But not worth the reported asking price. Spare us this unless price tag is 30 million and 100k salary. I wouldn't buy, maybe a loan, but we need to keep Isak. Loan with a view to buy. Does he score goals? To be honest, I'd take him. So there's a lot of, probably I would say 80%. Or negative about the link to Jackson, and I don't blame those links, to be honest with you. I don't think Jackson is Premier League proven, in all honesty. I think he's a good squad player at best. I just don't think he is at that elite level. And then a little bit more on Odyssey's Vlachodimos. Keith Downey says he's on his way to Spain for medical with Sevilla. Newcastle goalkeeper has agreed a season-long loan with the La Liga side. The Greek internationals yet to start a Premier League match for Newcastle haven't arrived for Nottingham Forest last summer. He's only played one game, actually. It was a half-time substitute against Wimbledon. And when we went on to win the League Cup, he come on at half-time because Dubravka was injured. There's a little stat for you. So that is your latest news around the club at the minute. Now, it's always development, so something might happen later on the night with it just coming up at 6 p.m. UK time. Dewsbury Hall not getting sold. Why not go for him? He's going out alone. He's a link to Everton now. Did I say that earlier in the day? I'm sure I did. Sell Isak now. Ooh, Adam now. Sell us now. And use the money to buy 5 players at least. I think Harvey Elliott would be excellent for Newcastle. Yeah, I wouldn't be against Harvey Elliott. I wouldn't. Is he a bad apple? About Jackson. He gives that vibe, doesn't he? He does give that vibe, doesn't he? Kamaras will go to Dubravka. I mean, not Dubravka. Kamaras isn't going, man. He's captain, man. He's not going to Man City this summer. And if only 2 options, Matt says people go for Jackson or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Really, really, I missed that off. Sorry, that's gone. Let me know what you said there, Matt. This at a link to Liverpool now. Highlight, what do you think Isak will stay? Yes or no? Nope. I think he'll go. I think he'll go at the end of the summer. I think he might go right towards the end of the window. But Newcastle need to get replacements ready if that happens. They have to. It's important that they do. I thought it was rejected. Welsh Toon says, I think we need to look abroad. I think the likes of Isak, Tonali, Bruno Botman, etc. Premier League proven players are too highly rated and sought after, and they cost too much. Let's be honest. Dewsbury Hall go Everton. I thought I'd seen that. Why aren't you going for Watkins? Jackson's dog shit. I agree. Jackson's absolutely shite. Watkins would be a good buy. The only problem that I think we have as a club, not the fans, the club will see him as there's no sell-on value anymore. So if we get him, we're not going to make any PSR money back on him in the future because of his age. What's he, 29 or something? Dewsbury Hall signed for Everton. I thought he did. Is Joe Linton injured? Nope, not that I'm aware of. And Dylan's got to say, when he comes back, do you think he'll get booed if he's a Liverpool player? If he signs for Liverpool, I bet it's written in his contract he's not allowed to play that game. Guarantee you it. Guarantee you. Get rid of this Dexter bloke. Mitro back? Nah, Mitrovic passed it for me. He's playing in Saudi. Isak will stay. Eddie Howe clearly wanted him for one more season. And Nunes would have also been good for Nunes wouldn't have been good for Newcastle. Disagree on that. I think he's crap. Hayden Hackney from Borough. Yeah, he's been linked. He could be that under 21 player I was on about the last couple of days. Maybe he's squad cover and then grow into the role, hopefully, and become better. 3 years quality. Isak can't play for us again. Get Voldemort. Get who? Get Waldemade. I don't know what that is, to be honest. I don't know if that's a Mickey take or not. Who will Newcastle get if Isak goes? Because nobody wants to come to the club. I think because again we're shopping with other big clubs. I think we're the new kids on the block, aren't we? Entering this new shop. It's a bit like you've like we're going to Harrods, but we're going to Harrods with £100. You gotta get fuck all. Do you know what I mean? And all your colleagues around you have grands. It's a bit like that. I think we need to maybe potentially come down a peg and maybe look at getting some young inspiration players like the likes of Hall, maybe Livermore, those type of molds. I'm not saying that Newcastle can't go and get, but the longer it goes on, that list we're coming down the list. I think. Buying going for Jackson, yeah, I've seen a lot. Moises Keane, that's not a bad shout. Didn't hit it off, Dean, in the Premier League, did he, Evan? But since he's gone back to Serie A, he's done okay. He's not. I don't think he's prolific, but again, squad player, play anyway across the front three. Vlahovic is another one. He's been linked. Vissa, I would prefer Vissa if it's a Premier League proven player for squad player for me. Hackney will be the next cab out off the rank. Way. I like that. Someone get him an Uber. And 80 million offer needs put in for Marcus Thuram. Yeah, speaks the language perfectly well. He's got an American accent, and because of his when his dad moved over there for a little bit. Vlahovic isn't being offered out for like 30 million, but it's his wages, isn't he? Juventus want him off because of the wages. He's on ridiculous. Endrick on loan from. I'll take that. I don't think it'll happen, mate, but I'll definitely take that. That young German is a real handful. Tall, difficult, knock off the ball, scores goals. Koulibaly, again, that's come back around that cheap, around 40 million. Yet again, another one. Chip hasn't played across the front three, predominantly on the right and up top. France international, and that France side is difficult to get into. That bit, even the France second string is still brilliant. Another week, no movement, pathetic. Joel, I agree on that. Are you happy with the 4 goalkeepers now? And who's number 1? I would say Ramsdale, says Dylan. I'd say Pope. It's Pope Salus. Ramsdale. And interesting, did you see Ramsdale's interview when he joined? He didn't mention Vlachodimos or Dubravka at all, but he did mention John Ruddy and Mark Gillespie. He's been told to say that, I think. I don't know how you feel about that. Stuttgart, yeah. And Nick Waldemade. And Leon's number 9 would be decent. We'll have to wait and go big next summer. Well, Leon will let him kicked out Ligue 1, won't they? And do you think the Lasses will make any more signings, says Jinky? Yes, because we still have more to... Yes, they will. I know that for a fact. They have to fill 25 women's squad. They still can do a few more signings. I think it's 5, I want to say, they can do. Do you think Howe could walk? I don't think Howe will walk yet. Because I think, can Howe get a job as big as Newcastle right now? Spurs, would one of the bigger clubs, i.e. Liverpool or Man City, take Howe on? Not just yet. I think he needs a little bit more credit. Don't get me wrong, he's an unbelievable well, but I think Howe will England will approach him when Tuchel goes, because Tuchel's got a short contract. But I just don't think he's quite a Liverpool or a Man City. I don't think he's that far off, man. I think he probably needs another year or 2 in the bank. What about Tony? Could chip in goals? Would he take him back from Saudi? Obviously, he's on ridiculous wages. Used to be at Newcastle. Remember him being in the under-21s when I was covering that on NFTV Extra. I'm not against that, but the wages, isn't it? Vlahovic, Watkins from the Isak money. I'm not against... Watkins wouldn't be a worst-case scenario as his first choice, would he? He wouldn't. Howley's after World Cup, if it goes bad for England. And Fabian Scher told Isaac, Eddie made you remember that. Don't know how true it is. I don't know. Not sure on that. England is better suited gig for Howe. I don't ever have to sell players to balance the books, says Pod Mags. But we don't really need to sell. It's just Isak wants to go, doesn't he? And if Tony's got ambition in the World Cup, yeah, Wage got moved back to the Premier League. Yeah, he's getting on a bit now, though. How old's Tony now? 28? Again, probably not much sell-on value, but he'll score your goals. I think he's done that with Brentford. So it's a good shout. I'm not against that. Liverpool wouldn't go for Howe as they've got Slot. No, but I mean, in terms of how at that level, I think he's probably just slightly under a Man City or Liverpool. I think he needs another year or 2 and banked in good couple of years as well. Gavin's got to say, we don't want to be a selling club, so why are we obsessed with sell-on value? There's so much less competition for 27-year-olds. It's a good... No, you make a fantastic point. I think from the board's point of view, because PSR is fucked with our, let's be honest, we can't... If you strap PSR, we're signing whoever we want. Let's be honest. We are. There's no rules for that. We'll go and get the best players in the world and we'll win the leagues. But because of the PSL, we can't. So for us, we don't really sell particularly well. I think we have with Lloyd Kelly massively. I think I was fair play to the club for doing that. You have to say, because that was a masterstroke. Got him in for free and you've sold him for 20 million 6 months later. And you barely played. So it's stuff like that where you can be smart with it. Lee, I hope you're all right. Yes, I am. Tony's 29. See, I was close enough, Scott. Howe has a long-term deal. No one can afford and buy him out of that. So yeah, well, England couldn't, could they? I think Eddie Howe said that he loves being in a football-obsessed city. There isn't many of them in the UK. Glasgow, Liverpool, Newcastle. Then I'm struggling. Leeds to some extent, maybe, but Leeds is half rugby as well, isn't it? So, but those three cities, Liverpool, Glasgow, and Newcastle, are football-obsessed cities. They are mental for it. So, for me, Craig Cope saying Strand Larson, as backup, please. Why can't we look outside of Europe? Good shout. Do you have any names, Terraces, from South America or anywhere from Asia? Obviously, Ivan Toney's obviously playing in the Middle East at the minute. Leeds is rugby. Give Ferdinand a big hug from me. Absolutely love him. Yes, Geordie Toon for life. I hope you've seen the travel vlog when I met and Gret him. He's already had his little walk the day, panting away because it was too hot. It's all about Newcastle. Hit the likes, boys and girls. Please do hit that like. Please do. It means the world to me, you know. For you lot it doesn't, but for me it does. Putting all the content to him, grafting my little arse off, yeah. Right, so I think we're going to start a wrap up. We've been live for 36 minutes on Twitch and YouTube. We do have Joe on the overlap. Did fantastic well on his debut, so he was nervous, but he gives it back. So stay tuned for that with the overlap. And of course, it's all about the Cellar Cup. We're there tomorrow night, and then we're there for the double header on Saturday. And we've got some exciting news to bring to you over the weekend as well. So that's exciting as well for us. So we'll stay tuned for that. And if anything does break, like concrete stuff, we'll be back later on the night. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow during the day before we head to St. James's Park. So if you can drop us a massive like, that would be wonderful. Appreciate that. And we'll see you very soon on NFTV. Take care, everyone. Ta-da.